Hello, hello, and welcome to Blank Pages, the podcast. It's a podcast for people who appreciate the new beginnings of a clean slate, but strive for the courage, willingness, curiosity, and creativity available only on the blank pages of new possibilities. It's the potential to move beyond, move forward, where people are willing to make new decisions from a fresh perspective and are ready to write in a much better way. So the world is waiting and nothing listens better than a blank piece of paper. So I just want to say thank you all for tuning in again, as you've done. You guys have been fantastic, and I really appreciate just the comments that I've been getting, and some who I see that are my friends around, and just talking about what they're learning, what they're hearing, and it's pretty cool. And then some of the contacts that I'm receiving from those I don't know that I'm getting to know online. So it's just always a good thing when you are able to not only share with the community that you're a part of, but also hear from other voices that you don't know. The one good thing about the internet is how it can bring worlds together in a healthy way when done right? So maybe that's something I'll bring up one day. Maybe I'll talk about, digging into some of the impacts or effects that, I don't know, what I feel technology has done in my life. That's something I'm in my 50s. So that'd be cool. I might dig into that. That's an idea. So, thank you again for listening. Those of you who are following me on Instagram, I appreciate that, at Tim Pecoraro. That's at TIMPECORARO. And you can find me there. And I'm not posting a whole lot right now. I'm working into that. But right now, it's just getting some basic things out on what I'm working on community-wise. But I do plan on doing some more online things and putting some things up to engage a little bit more, but not just to compete and be in the world of all the other noise that's out there. I just want, when you see things coming from me, you know that they're a shelf life item, right? It's something that you can combine with other things that you've already got going on in your life. All right. And I would like to become a part of that staple, something that you can count on, something that's consistent, and something that's not going to be selling you 100 things, right? So that's what I want to do. I want to be useful in that type of way. So please don't hesitate to follow and like and share. And also, I have been telling people about my book, Flit Learns to Flies, my children's book that I just put out, and I'm so excited about it. You can find that on a link in my bio as well on Instagram, and get a copy for a young person. I'm so excited. I'll tell you more. I think I'm going to do an episode around just the process, and I'm going to even interview the illustrator, the artist who did the drawing. So such an incredible young woman, and I can't wait to get into that. But I've been talking about hard best, and I'm going to continue talking about hard best for a little while, because I want to get into all this people stuff and more just on relationships and people and relationships and people and people and relationships, because they're so important. And I think one of the biggest things that we have broken in our world is our inability to do relationships well. So, I'm talking about hard best versus easy good, and what hard best means. And last week I talked about just that risk. There's the risk takers and people that take risk in relationship and just risk in general. Those are hard best people. People that are willing to take risks are hard best type people. And it doesn't mean you have to be reckless. I'm just saying that you'll take the risk because there is something of value, something of worth, something at a higher calling. That's what I mean. Not just someone that says, I'm just going to be reckless and that's how I live. That's not what I'm at all implying. And there's nothing else. I am simply stating as fact that if you're going to do hard best, it's going to require risk. It's going to be risky. And so for some people, that is going to be very disruptive. It's going to be extremely disruptive, thinking about hard best, and the risk that it could take. So, it's about change, right? You got to change your mindset. If you're going to do hard best, if you're used to easy good, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump ahead on my notes a little bit, and I'm going to redefine hard best again, so everybody understands what we're talking about. Because I'm going to get into hard best, not just from the personal side here and your mindset. I'm going to talk about hard best and the mindset and you involved in relationships with others and the risk taking there. So hard best is it's deliberately engaging in challenging, effortful activities for growth, learning, and leadership, despite an easier option. It's a person that prioritizes long-term improvements over immediate ease. They embrace uncertainty and stepping out of their comfort zones. A hard best person is a person that's going to focus on pioneering, mastering self-discipline, and crafting accessible solutions, viewing challenges as opportunities for personal and communal advancement. That's what a hard best person does. Contrary to the easy good, that would be the opposite of all of that and very, very comfortable. So we don't want to be easy good. We want to be hard best people. I'm sorry for those of you. I went away for a minute because I had to get a drink. So, so last week I talked about the stress that comes from doing hard best. It can stress out. And so you have your dopamine, your serotonin, you have your cortisols, you have all these things that affect you in their chemicals, right? And so these are from stressors, and you can have negative stressor, which is like a distress, where you come under distress. But when you have positive stressors, that's when you enter into eustress. Right. And so let me bring up what is the eustress. And I want to, I'm going to share with you just a simple of the eustress so that you can, if you didn't listen to the last episode, which I encourage you to do, this is episode 18. I want you to listen to episode 17 and the definition of eustress. And so I'm going to make it simple. Eustress is it's like a roller coaster. You're riding a roller coaster, and the roller coaster represents a challenge or a stressor. So riding is not something you have to do, but you choose to do. Now, you see, you don't have to, you choose to. But because you know it's safe and you can handle it, the thrill and excitement you feel are like eustress. It's a positive feeling because you see the experience as one that is enjoyable and within your ability to handle. Well, it's the same thing. If you're in a sport and you get out there and you're playing another team, you may be nervous, you may be slightly afraid. You have all those things that are natural, but you're there because there's something hopefully that believes in you and your team that you have the ability to compete. And so now, instead of being in distress as a team, you can be in eustress as a team. You're able to handle it. And then through that, you're going to find yourself moving into more successful campaigns. Things in your future will become better. Maybe not the sport. You're not going to always, you can't have, every team can't be champs. But what you're doing is you're building the champion on the team that doesn't become a champ. And that's what's important. You're building champions. Everything that we do when we put ourselves in these hard best situations, we're building the future champion. So you may not be winning in the thing, but you are winning in the thing because the thing that you're winning at is the thing that you're doing, even though you don't get the grand prize, but it's setting you up for the next thing. So the champion is built before the thing ever happens. The victories are built before you ever get there. All of this stuff happens, but you want to do that with the eustress. You have to build up inside yourself, knowing that in you, you are built for better things. You're built for stuff. You're built for more. And so we've got to change our mindset in order to believe that, in order to do hard best and do hard best in our life. So eustress manifests in situations like when your body, just imagine your body's response to excitement, like your heart beats faster. You might feel a rush of energy. That's the chemical response during a eustress situation. That's what it's like. And so that's why I'm giving you the picture of this roller coaster. It's a positive stress. This eustress can arise from various scenarios, including when you get a new job or you learn a new skill or you're engaging with like I said, a sport or a community, or you're facing a tight deadline and you've been working really hard, but you know it's achievable. That's what I want to get you into. And the people that are willing to do the hard best these are the people, and I gave a thesis statement last week as well, or in the last episode before this. And the thesis statement was to set up that just the hard best, like the value of this hard best, doing the hard stuff. And that people that do the hard stuff, I believe, are the ones that are going to see the greatest rewards in their life. And so I gave this thesis statement. And I'm going to use it again today because now it's going to be not just me, it's about doing hard best in relationship. So individuals who dare to tackle difficulties are more likely to lead, ready, in innovation, understand deeper truths, develop wisdom, and forge stronger relationships despite the inherent risks and potential for failure. So the lessons they're going to learn from setbacks are invaluable, fueling greater life fulfillment, professional success, and community influence. That's what I'm telling you. When you learn from these setbacks, they're invaluable. Why? It's the life fulfillment stuff. It's professional success, and there's community influence, community connection. All that stuff comes with it. So I want us to embrace this. I want us to dig into this hard best thinking. And I want it to be that we're willing to choose the hard best stuff. We're willing to understand it's going to require us to think differently. We need to move away from distress and into eustress. We have to get ourselves into understanding that we are capable. We can do it. Now, I can't review everything from last week, so I encourage you to do it from the episode before this. Please go back and listen to the prior episode and even see the ways that I'm helping you to just take the information that I shared in that episode to help you cultivate. I gave you, I think there were several factors that I said, like a positive mindset, achievable challenges, like how can you cultivate eustress in your life so that you can do hard best and be invigorated by it and take those risks, because a person that's going to take those risks are the ones that are going to succeed. That's what's going to happen. So change. In order to do this, you're going to change. So here's where we're going to buckle in and buckle down. And there's a psychology around change. This is what we're up against. It's how the individual is going to adapt. It's how you or I will adapt. It's the emotional and cognitive processes that are going to be involved. Like my cognitive process is involved in managing a new situation or even various factors that are going to facilitate, they're going to help me, or they're going to hinder my success and ability to change. It spans various aspects of our psychology. So it includes the cognitive psychology. It's going to include behavioral psychology. It's going to include social psychology. And we need those in order to understand how people are going to perceive and react and engage in life, and whether it's personal, professional, or societal. So we have to understand, psychology of change is crucial. And so let me just give you the main reasons so we can get into hard best of relationship. So I'm going to give you 5 simple ones. The first one is personal growth. So the psychology of change and understanding it, because it's going to help you in your personal growth. It's going to help me in my personal growth. So it's going to help individuals navigate right through life's inevitable, and you need to say that, they're inevitable changes more effectively. So you're going to be able to navigate better when you understand the psychology of change and you embrace it. You're going to face inevitable challenges and change, but you're going to do it more effectively, and it's going to allow for you to grow and develop in the process of it. And that's where the sweet stuff is. That's the good right there. It's so wonderful. When you go through that process, it allows you to grow and develop. Second thing is when you want to understand the psychology of change, it's going to build the resilience in you. It's going to contribute to building the resilience, enabling myself to bounce back from our setbacks and our challenges. We're going to bounce back, not only just bounce back, but we're going to bounce back more quickly. The third is change, the ability to change and being able to manage that change. In organizational stuff and businesses, it's essential for effective change management when you're making moves. And a lot of companies don't do that well. And when they do change management, they move people around and they move systems and processes and they do it for their reasons, whatever. But a lot of times, once they make the change, they fail to stay connected to the personnel, to the people side of things. And one of the ways that I work as a coach when I go into a company is I see all these people changes and I see all this stuff. And then they want to know, well, why didn't that work or whatever? I mean, all you have to do is look at sports teams. You can move people all day long. You can trade people to teams. Right now in college, the phenomenon with the NIL, the name, image, and likeness stuff, NIL stuff. And if a coach leaves and kids enter the transfer portal and they get a great recruiting class, but then other options happen and they enter into the transfer portal again, they're gone. These young men and women can move. And it's because they have name, image, and likeness. They have a brand. They have these things. So they now have made it difficult for coaches to now build teams. But that's why I tell coaches, you have to stop just training for people and stuff. What you want to do is you want to make a culture, things that make people not want to leave, and understand that they do have NIL within the culture they're in and the place that they're in. Instead of telling people to chase every open opportunity, we should be telling them to build foundational things to take your next step, not just using everything as a stepping stone. So we want to help do that. When you do change management better, it's your transition within the business can be smooth and your staff remain engaged and productive, but get into the people side of the change if you do that with business. The other part is your mental health. So understanding the psychology of change is crucial to help you in mental health because, listen, poorly managed change leads you into stress, which takes you to distress, which puts you in anxiety and can lead you to sadness, which sadness can take you to depression because they're neighbors. But while successful adaptation can enhance all your well-being, everything that you do can enhance every part of your life, every single part, because your mental health is in a good spot. I didn't know that was important until I've been, rebuilding my posterior chain because of my knees and the back problems I've had because of my knees, and they're arthritic and I'm bow-legged as well. But all this exercise and training and stuff that I've been doing, just simple stuff for these injuries that have limited me in my mobility. But now I'm able to get back into it. I'm able to move like I want to. And it's all through the PT. It's working on all the soft tissue and all these things. And believe it or not, my mental health is better just because of that. And I didn't even know my mental health was off because I feel pretty good all the time. But I didn't realize it until wow, I didn't realize I felt bad for so long. And that's what some of you don't realize. Some of you don't even realize how bad you actually would feel if you saw things in another way. And that's what I'm trying to get you to do. Don't just think things are good. Sometimes you need to stop and really think about what's going on because you don't know. I did not know that I had a sadness quotient that was hitting me, and it wasn't keeping me from doing things, but it wasn't allowing all of me into it. And I didn't even realize it until someone helped me to see it. My mental health part. The fifth is social adaptation, right? So when you understand the psychology of change, it's going to aid in understanding societal shifts and how large groups or cultures adapt to new things, or even new things that they want to call norms or technologies and environments. So remember, just because I adapt doesn't mean I change. And that's the other part I'm not worried about, because you have to be clear on who you are. People are so afraid of someone trying to change them. And that's the problem we have in this world. Even when I see with people who talk about unconscious bias, but yet they don't allow someone else to have their own freedom to believe and think. Even if it is something that I would believe is less than, I don't believe anyone should run around with hate in their heart, but I can't control somebody's heart. I cannot legislate love. I can't put a law on that. So I just want to get better, once again, at being a human being. So I want to make these changes. I want to get ready for the inevitable. I want to do hard things well. I want to do hard things better. I want to do hard things first. I want to do hard things without being coaxed into it or coerced into it. I want to do hard things as a choice, and I don't want to be forced into it. I want to do hard things well. So why am I sharing that? Because I want you to know that we need more hard things better in relationships, not relationships that drag the entire world into it. I'm talking about from the nuclear, your best friend in high school, that nuclear situation, whatever your family is, whatever you call home, whoever your people are. I'm talking about from there out. And if we could do things that any place where we are around people beyond ourselves, right? Which obviously this has a lot of emotional intelligence in it, because you have to have personal awareness, right? And you have to have self-management. You have to have social awareness and relationship management. These are emotional intelligence things. But I also believe that, we just, without getting into a whole lesson on that, I just think we need to understand that we need improvement in all those areas. We need to we just need to get better there. So I want to talk about, in the way we'll just end this up, is putting that eustress, putting that risk taking, that hard best into the relationships, looking for the positive stressor, right? That's what I'm looking for, the positive stressor that tells me that this is going to be hard to have this conversation with this person that I care about, but I can do it. I'm capable of it. It's in me. It's possible. I know that I can do this. It's the thing I like to tell people, and I heard it years ago, but it's learning to take the long walk down the short hallway. It's not that far, but man, it feels like forever. That's difficult. So let me give you some things to take risks. I built all this up to get you into just risk taking in relationships, hard bests. So in order to do that, and I'm talking about getting you to change your mind, you're going to need to view vulnerability as strength. I want you to look at it as, yes, it's emotional risk taking. You're going to have to look at being vulnerable and sharing and opening up is risk taking. But it's crucial if you want to create deep, meaningful connections. And recently I was talking to someone, and I'm going to develop this out more, but basically we need to start looking at the relationships that we have, like in your home, with your family, or with your friends and your community people, however you view it. But that is like literally the soil. All that is it's like the community itself. The relationships are the soil. And then each one of us are that seed that drops into that soil. And unfortunately, we're too in and out of relationship. In other words, we're not really connected to let the earth work on us, we don't let it to where our skin gets broken, where our essence comes out. We get guarded and we harden ourselves as seed, and we don't allow ourselves to reveal. We don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable. We've been hurt so much and wounded so much. And so we remove ourselves from one potted soil over to another potted soil. And we just replant ourselves. And then we wonder, but here's the thing, all the goodie seems to not get broken. The seed's not coming out, it seems. And that's because the shell gets hard. The seed gets hard. But even though you keep planting, you think, well, this new dirt will bust the skin. But we just can't really get down to the essence of things. Well, that's on you. That's on me. That's what we have to do. We have to learn to do that better with people. And we have to view vulnerability as strength, emotional risk taking. It's crucial to get that rich soil for the seed that you are and I am to walk into in that thing called relationship. You need those meaningful connections. Showing vulnerability ready allows individuals to be seen authentically. It fosters trust, and it also helps for a greater intimacy in the relationship. Woo. Risk-taking in relationships, so vulnerability is a strength. You also have to see it as a leap of faith. So when you have those initial stages in forming relationships, everybody has them, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendship, whether it's work, it's professional, it's a business venture. Listen, it's going to require a leap of faith. Everything we do. And listen, for those of you who go, well, I don't know, I'm not a person that has much faith in anything. Listen, if you drive a car and you start your car and you drive out of your driveway or wherever you park it, and you get to a red light or a four-way stop or intersection, you're trusting that people understand green, yellow, and red. If it's a four-way stop, they understand stop signs and how and who goes next. That's by faith that you're doing that. When you get up every morning and you walk outside, it's by faith that you're doing it. Why? Because it's what you've taught yourself to do. You built yourself up with a mechanism that says, I trust enough to leave the house. I trust enough to drive the car. I trust enough to go to work. I trust enough to sit. I mean, you're still doing it. Yes, you do have a choice not to. Now, you may have a choice. You can say, well, I don't have a choice, but I have to. Well, no, you have a choice. You just have to understand the consequences of your choice. So leap of faith, we all do it. We have to take risks in expressing we're going to take a leap of faith. Vulnerability needs to be seen as a strength, and you have to take a leap of faith and show feelings. You have to show interest. You have to also you ready? You have to make commitments and keep them. And these actions can lead to more of a fulfilling, enriched relationship because you take a leap of faith. And risk-taking relationship. Hard best of vulnerability is strength. Hard best of the leap of faith. How about this? Hard best, right? And risk taking in relationship for navigating conflict. I heard this a long time ago, and this happened. It happened in my own house, and this can happen in your marriage like it did in mine, and could happen in whatever you have, relationships, whatever. It can happen with your children. But you can argue with someone, and you can be right in those arguments, and you can be very good at it. And you have to tell on yourself and admit those things when you really are good at it. And it's not that you're just like I just want to argue. No, it's just you're good at it. And we all have superpowers sometimes that we're using at the wrong time. And so you can argue and you can win the argument, but you can lose the relationship in the process. So you want to navigate conflict better. Do the hard best of maybe stop trying to be right and instead find what the relationship needs. So it's necessary. If you're going to do relationship, you're going to have to navigate the conflict. You're going to have courage to address issues directly. Yeah. And I know it may take a minute to get there, but you don't want to just drop things on people, but learn to sit with people and learn to bring them up and find ways to do it. And I'm going to do an episode of bringing up topics on hard things, like how to start them off and just kind of help and put some things out there. But if you avoid, the reason I'm saying this, you're going to have to do it. Take the long walk down the short hallway, because if you avoid the confrontation and you try to treat that as a safety behavior, okay, that's your safety mechanism, it's going to lead you to being stagnant. But if you face it head on, it's going to strengthen your understanding. It's going to strengthen the relationship. It's going to build trust. And it's also going to strengthen and build respect. And then risk-taking in relationships, it's growth and change come together. You have to bring them together. You have to understand, if I want to grow and I want to change, they have to come together. Okay, so you want them together. There's risks that are going to be involved in you growing and changing. Okay, and doing it together is going to be hard. So including supporting other people in what you do. So remember, you want to do these things together with folks. You don't want to do them apart. You want to do them together. So whoever's in your life, you want to say, I want to invite you into what I'm going to grow in and what I'm trying to change in. I want to do it with you. So if it's with your children, invite them into the growth and changes you're making. If it's with your spouse or your significant other, invite them into the changes you're making. If it's with your team and you're leading at work, invite them into the changes you're making. Now, if you're at work and you're not in charge of the team, you want to still invite people into changes maybe you're making, maybe on building a new habit. It's okay to still share with people. But the reason you're doing it is you want to support. You're looking for the supporting, whatever it is that you're doing in any transition you're making or any move. So it's important to take those risks. And then when you do that and you share and you invite people in, things go so much better. I remember for me, like I can tell you so many times when you learn what happens when you invite people into the things that you're thinking rather than surprise them with it. Right. So I have a high tolerance for risk. I also can take chances and whatever. However, other people aren't that way. So I have to learn to be better at bringing them into the things that I'm doing and tell them about them. Because if not, that's overwhelming. Because for me, I like surprise and delight as well as the risk. But for them, that is not at all surprise and delight. When I surprise them with, oh, look at this, and I didn't invite them into all the changes, that's overwhelming. And as a visionary, you have to be careful. You have to know how to navigate the relationship. So in risk taking, you have to view vulnerability as strength. You have to have a leap of faith. You have to navigate conflict, and you have to bring growth and change together. Do them together. So as a wrap up, I want you to just take away these simple things, right? I gave you, just what is that soil? What are the things that you're looking for, right? In that soil called relationship. Now, what is my part in that soil as a risk taker in relationship? Doing hard things better, doing hard things first, doing hard things without being coerced into doing it, doing hard things because I choose and I change my mind and I want to understand that change. So here's some practical things. right? That you can do, that this is your part. You ready? Communicate openly and honestly, even when it feels uncomfortable. That's the first thing. Always do that. The second thing is show appreciation and gratitude regularly. I mean, regularly recognize the efforts and contribution the other person is trying to make or is making. The third thing I want to give to you is try new experiences together, try new things, which could mean you do a new hobby if it's in your family or with with a friend. Could be traveling, or could just be change up your routines, man. I mean, you want to change the routine and put some novelty and excitement into some things. You want some, if you want something spicy, you need to throw some spicy things in there. I mean, whatever, but you do it. And also ask for help or support when it's needed. Show trust in the other person's willingness and ability to be there for you. Show trust in that's important to you. So as you're wrapping up, you're listening to this, I hope that you will take these: communicate, show appreciation, try new experiences, ask for help. Those are practical things you can do right now. I want you to reflect on your relationships, though. I want you to reflect and consider where you might be holding back. Maybe you're afraid. You're afraid of being vulnerable or conflict. But I just want to invite you, ready, to take one small risk in the coming week and strengthen a relationship and share whatever that experience is, that you're having with a person based on those changes. You're risking, and then tell that person what it means to you. And if you would be willing to share that, hey, pop on Instagram and send me a DM, or if you would, just maybe at Tim Pecoraro and say how you've taken a risk. Okay. And what, you don't have to go into all your details. You don't need the world to know everything. Just put it up there and just say, hey, took a risk with a friend who I hadn't seen in a while. Just let me know you're doing something about it. Let's do hard best. Let's do hard best better. Let's not only do hard best better and well, let's do hard best without fail. Let's do it without being coerced or pushed into doing it. I really appreciate all of you guys, and I thank you so much for, you're a better part of the things that I do. This is something that I do, it's because I love, and that's when you know you love something. This is not because of my job or work. It's because I want to put value out there. I want people to be able to live their very best life. So thank you for lending me your time. Thank you for lending me your attention. And I hope most importantly, I'm giving you things that are going to be useful and helpful for you as you go live your amazing life. So until next time, we'll talk soon.